Alright guys, Levi Trumbull reporting here in Frederick. We are here today to be the first ones who break the news about an update in relationship to the indictment that Frederick County, Maryland does not want you talking about. Of course, we are not talking about the Chuck Jenkins indictment. In relationship to that story has non-stop coverage day in and day out. We are here today to talk about the Chelsea Kadish indictment. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Chelsea Kadish is County Executive Jessica Fitzwater's current Chief of Staff. She is an active government official who was indicted in September 2022 for 2 counts of child abuse and 4 counts of assault. Now, I want to be clear. We have not actually covered this story on this channel yet. So before I reveal the update as it relates to this story, I first want to walk everyone through what is going on here as it relates to this indictment in particular. According to the statement of charges, on July 25th, 2022, a police officer responded to a reported child abuse. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with a woman who stated that she was the mother of a victim of child abuse. The mother of the victim told police that her son has scratches around his hip and pelvic area that appear to be consistent with fingernail scratches. She then advised police that his stepmom, who is Chelsea Kadish, grabbed him by the waist and was digging her fingernails into his upper pelvic area. It was also learned that the victim's brother allegedly was a witness to the incident. Later, the charging document states that the victim met with a forensic interviewer in which the boy allegedly told the forensic interviewer that he was dragged with her fingernails and was picked up and shook around. The boy also said there became a time when he was being choked by his stepmother on multiple incidents. When the forensic interviewer spoke with the boy's brother, he seemed to confirm the story that Chelsea Kadish picked up and shook the boy around, as well as choked him. Chelsea Kadish generally denies these accusations and also tried to explain away some of the circumstances in the affidavit of probable cause by saying that she had never done anything against her stepchildren out of anger. It was also unclear to me, just from the charging application, to whether there was any particular smoking gun evidence that could be used against her during the course of trial. However, Assistant State Attorney Tammy Leach recommended the charges, and thus the indictment process began against the Chief of Staff for the Frederick County Executive. The state's attorney's office served subpoenas on Child Protective Services in Frederick County, commanding it to produce all records involving the children, which I understand did happen. In the state's discovery disclosure to Chelsea Kadish, it contained interviews from the stepchildren and 8 witnesses for the state expected to be called during trial. But moving forward, it looks like the state would cut Miss Kadish perhaps a very good deal, because on March 24th, 2023, the state agreed to place the case on the STET docket, meaning the case would not move forward so long as Chelsea Kadish agreed to follow several conditions. The conditions of her STET were as follows. 1. She would obey all laws, and 2, agree to complete parenting classes. They also notated the fact that the state would enter a non-prosecution status on the case after Miss Kadish completes the parenting classes. Presumably, this was done so that this matter could get off of her record expeditedly with an expungement. Now, in my opinion, that sounds like a pretty good deal, which is where we get to our breaking news for this situation. Alright guys, now for the update we talked about in the beginning. The defense attorney for Chelsea Kadish has officially moved the Circuit Court for Frederick County to enter this case into non-prosecution status, per the STET conditions, in what appears to look like one of the greatest possible outcomes for Miss Kadish. This indictment was handed down in September of 2022, and here we are 9 months later, and this case is headed for the expungement box. I would fully expect this motion to be granted. I want to highlight that Kadish is innocent unless proven guilty. However, there is no question in my mind as to the unbelievable circumstances we have seen here. There is no question that anytime an indictment is handed down for multiple felonies and you find yourself going from indictment to non-prosecution in 9 months, it is about as favorable of a position as you can get. Again, with that non-prosecution status, she will be able to expunge, which I sense is the ultimate goal here. In fairness, it would probably be everyone's goal in this situation, but again, to close out, we will not be seeing a trial for this case, nor witnesses, nor evidentiary records coming into evidence in this case. The breaking news here is that the defense attorney for Miss Kadish is now motioning the court to lock this thing up once and for all, citing that his client has attended the parenting classes and has followed all agreed conditions of the stat. It certainly would have been interesting to see what would have transpired in the event this deal had not been cut. I want to close out by saying that while it seems like this case and all of its records are headed for the trash can, that will not be the case here on this channel. Miss Kadish is a government official of a prominent position, and as soon as I receive confirmation that this case has been removed from the public record, I will be republishing all of those records in their entirety. I consider these records as historical governmental records and should be archived and preserved as such. This is my promise to the viewer. I will not allow for the permanent destruction of historical records. Not on my end. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you soon.